I was looking at Blackish, and the scene from Blackish, the scene was the two children, I don't know their name, but the little girl with the glasses and her brother with the mohawk, they were in class. And this particular episode, their teacher was out. So they got a substitute. So the substitute come in, and this is her announcement. Let me give you her announcement. Good afternoon, good morning, class. I'm your substitute teacher, and my name is Miss Biggs. And yes, my last name describes my body. And if you want to point that out as a student, I'll take advantage. This is what she said on the sitcom. She said, I'll take advantage of the broken system that exists by doing something to you and then just getting moved around. Like, of course, it was much more eloquent than that. It was this sitcom, so it was funny, how they presented it, but I'm telling you from a viewer standpoint, so of course, it's just like telling a joke that you heard that's funny. You jack it all up. Like, the person who you telling the joke to, they like, that's not even funny. Well, it's because you didn't tell it right. But, so I'm sure this is an example of that. But the bottom line is, my point is, in a sitcom, which sitcoms that survive, they address our topics from a humor standpoint. So that was funny on one hand, but let's dig deeper into that. The substitute teacher came in, she made her announcement, said her name was, and then she said, because of a flaw in the system, which is broken. That's what she said. This is what she said. Because of a flaw in the system that is broken, I can retaliate against you students that make fun of me and won't nothing happen to me. I won't lose my job. I might get a reassigned. That's what they do. They reassign you. In the public school system. Whereas in the job, if they find out that you're not adequate, if you're not working out, they get rid of you. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Worker, things wasn't working out, so we no longer need you. They don't explain to you why. I mean, some do, but they basically get rid of you at that time. What's up, bro? They get rid of you. That's what they do. They don't, and that's with any job. So we talking about our school system that's governing our children. You mean to tell me a teacher can be, a staff, a faculty can be straight not good for the environment with our children, and that could be established firmly, but instead of that person losing their job, being encouraged to go work with, less precious metals, that person just gets moved to another situation, more kids. So if you failed in one setting with children, why would you be successful in another setting? But that's an example of the educational system, which there is cultivated from votes. And when you vote on this politician, then they appoint superintendents. Superintendent hire principals, principal hire teachers and staff who interact with your child. Children don't have the capacity. Some do, but overall, children don't have the capacity to know that they're being groomed, or that a person doesn't know what they're doing and they're ruining their future by talking to them a certain way, dealing with them a certain way. So since children don't have that capacity, it's our responsibility as parents to be enormously aware of the importance of who you put in front of our children. Henceforth, there's an enormous importance to who we vote for. And all this video is just a conversation about that. That's all. I'm not saying who you should vote for or who you shouldn't vote for. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we should stop with the attitude that is inappropriate to have a discussion about who you voting for. We should be able to have a conversation about who you voting for. Trump has totally decimated the office of presidency. He has totally disgraced it, if you ask me. And he frequently used that term, a disgrace. Everything is a disgrace. Everything is a disgrace. If everything is so disgraceful, how can you say America is so great? Or let's make America great again, you know. So I'm just pointing that out because he's the leader of the free world. So here it is. We don't discuss who we voting for because it's taboo. So we don't discuss who's a good or bad candidate. Then a bad candidate gets in, and you know, the rest is history. Like an impeachment trial with no evidence, no witnesses. You know? Trump wants to cut a significant amount of Medicaid, which that's all we got in the black community is, okay, we so broke that we could at least qualify for Medicaid and go and see about my condition. You know, I don't got nothing else to do. I don't have too many opportunities. But I'm sick, so let me go sign up for Medicaid, get it, and then at least be able to get taken care of medically. Trump want to cut that. He want to cut funding for education. He want to cut funding for the Olympics. Yeah, that's a real. So I heard he want to cut the funding for the Olympics, and that's salty. They salty, you know. But we voted him in. And I use the term we loosely because I didn't vote for him. And considering this presidential debacle, we should be more apt to discuss. We should be more willing. We should be more willing to discuss how y'all doing? All right. I'm okay. Now that's service right there. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all have a nice day, okay?
Okay, you too, and stay warm.
Yeah, I'm trying. It should be a service. So, we got the young lady helping we got the younger lady helping the young lady. No, I'm not being funny. You old when you under the dirt. So, the lady with the portable walker, she's a young lady. And then the lady that's driving, she's a younger lady. Young, that's a good term to use. Old is under the ground. So, here it is. You got a senior citizen. It looked like the other lady was a senior citizen. I'm sure she was, but you got two senior citizens, one helping the other get to the pharmacy to get her medication. So stick with me, y'all. Stick with me, because I got a whole understanding about this. It would behoove, it would help both seniors. It would help both seniors if there was a service available where whatever you needed, it could get delivered, dropped off, or we could pick you up. Now they have a service already, but it's limited. It's very limited. I know a few elderly that take advantage of, the ride service that we have in our city. If you can see down there, that's an example of one. Just making a turn off the block. That's how my God works. When I'm talking about something, he confirmed that I'm talking about what I'm talking about is accurate. About things like that, here it is. I'm talking about the service that helps senior citizens move around, and then right as I'm mentioning it, one pull up. But that's a very limited service, They still got to pay $3 or $4, I think. The last time I checked, it was $3. So they got to get in, they got to pay $3, and then get dropped off where they're going, and that's it. No help or nothing. Well, I'm sure we have enough resources to A, hire a young man or young woman that wants to do this service, B, pay them well, and then C, give them a lot of resources in terms of help. For example, don't limit them to picking up and dropping off. They could get in and out of the car, carry groceries, it's just so I'm just saying these are examples of the choices we make politically. We have to be willing to discuss these things amongst ourselves, so when we go and vote, we could vote the person in that's going to be most beneficial to our community. It's really simple. Or we could keep believing that it's taboo. There go that word again. That it's taboo to discuss who you voting for. Why? I always ask why. Why can't we discuss who we talking about? I still haven't gotten an explanation from nobody, and I'm 47. A lot of people have discouraged me from having open air discussions about political candidates. You can't do that. That's not appropriate. I turn right to the person, and this is a lot of times I get misunderstood because hey, I'm genuinely trying to find out why we can't talk about the politics now. So soon as I take that stance, hey guys, let's have a discussion about who we shouldn't vote for. That's when some elderly person jumps up and How dare you? Who do you think you are? And you know, I'm not disrespectful. You know, I'm okay. I'm Big G. That's who I know I am. And I just want to know, in such a very important decision that I'm making, why can't I have some input from my neighbor? Because the same the same politician that's voted in is going to affect me and my neighbor together. Whether we are friends or not, whether we like each other or not. And that's a whole, I got a whole understanding, I got a whole idea, I got a whole expression about neighbors. You know, I've been neighborly all my life, but unfortunately, in our community, being neighborly, you become a target. Now you a lame, you a goofy, you just cause you nice, or you know, I've been called all type of stuff just for being neighborly, you know. But the ignorant cat that's tearing down the hood, he's not evaluated like me. You know, I'm over-evaluated though. But I got a video about that too. I got a whole video about how we treat each other, neighbors. Pedestrian always had a right of way. Down there about to get hit every time I walk across Halston. We some niggas. What's up, man? So, the moral of my walk, the moral of my talk. Walk with me, talk with me. Free your mind. The more I think about it, the more discouraged I am from the efforts in our community, because everybody have an agenda, and it's not an agenda that's fulfilling the needs of our community. So we need to have a discussion about the agenda of our campaign and politicians. And the only way we can make the most accurate vote is if we understand the candidates. The only way we're gonna understand the candidates is if we have a conversation about them. And you know, the only way you're gonna have a conversation about anything is if you have a conversation about it. So that's what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to take from my video the fact that I'm encouraging you to have a conversation about what's important. Whether you think politics is important or not, whether you believe it's real or not, I gather that it is. And until there's proof that it's not, we should involve ourselves, we should include ourselves in the voting process to put politicians in place that's congruent with the mission of the community, with the needs of the community. That's just that simple. You know, while I'm talking about community, I'm gonna jump around because I can. But while we talking about community, I'm impressed that the Asian community, they lost an individual and he was killed. And this is what they did about it. Unity. And they show more unity in the Asian community than in the whole Illinois. I ain't even say Chicago. I said Illinois. 2 young men were shot and killed viciously, execution style. And some people gonna disagree with me when I say this, but it's the truth. Because a young man from the black community, at least that's what the reports say, you know, he committed this heinous crime. Now this the part you're not gonna like. I'm equating it to the level of opportunity that he had. Think about it. After you get through being mad, oh, I can't believe you said that. Yeah. Why would an individual lay in wait, hiding? Why would an individual lay in wait, hiding with a weapon, then jump out on unsuspected victims, unsuspected citizens, unsuspected people? They would jump out and point a gun in their face to rob them. Hey, give me your valuables. That's a very desperate, sick individual that needs help. If you believe in the most prejudiced world, in the most racist world, if you believe, and I guess this is a blessing from God for me, but I haven't gotten, my mentality is still positive, even though I've been through a lot of negative things from my own community. My understanding is bigger than that. So I know, you know, I can't give up and throw in the towel and be on some crazy stuff. But, you know, everybody not the same. So some people say, hey, since we don't have no opportunities, I can't, you know, it's hard to make money out here for whatever reason, lack of education or whatever reason, whatever. I'm gonna revert to this opportunity. I'm gonna go get a gun and throw it in the motherfucker's face. That's crazy. That's crazy. But I was highlighting how impressive it was that the Asian community did roll call, which, you know, that's kind of puzzling to me. You know, that's our society. We do things, you know, after the fact. Like, we got all this attention on the roll call and all this after the 2 young men was killed, and now we out here, you know, young man's life is over because he finna be in jail for the rest of his life. You know, we care now. Now everybody cared. You know, the Asians, they care because 2 victims, but now the black community, you know, everybody got somebody to love them. I was looking at the press conference. The young man's parents, the young man's family, they out there with their hands in their pocket looking dazed and confused, you know. My child didn't do this. And that's the natural response, you know. I don't know, I wasn't there. But they said they followed a set of footprints that was bloody to where this guy was hiding, and he got the blood on him from the victim. So the family was describing as this is unfair. You know, I'm all ears. Where's the unfair part that's unfair on your son or your loved one, other than the fact that he was dropped in a very unfair set of circumstances, a situation that shit, he felt like this is all I got. Excuse me, sorry. I don't know. I can't even imagine. Man. The violence of laying in wait, seeing a potential victim, and then jumping out on them talking about, give me your shit. I can't, I'm not, my mama didn't help me understand nothing like that. I'm glad that's, you know, ain't nothing against him. I'm not mad at him. It's just at some point in his life, he understood that this is the maximum of my opportunity. This is the totality of my opportunity. And he jumped out and he demanded these people stuff and they didn't give it to him, and he shot and killed them. Now, why am I pointing this out? Because the roll call was immense. It was intense. It was hundreds of people out here with roll call with the community, with the police. So that was impressive to me. But it was kind of like an afterthought. Too little, too late. You know, we got young men still right now that's at their opportunity ceiling, which is started low anyway. I have a whole video on senseless violence and how violence is not so senseless. Look it up. It's very interesting. Then I'm gonna have a part 2 video because there are more things that I would like to say that I didn't get a chance to say on my hour walk. Keep in mind, y'all, I've been walking for 59 minutes. The sweat is rolling. No gimmick, no equipment, no diet. It's a weight loss plan. 5 miles. I ain't even walking 5 miles an hour, because if I was, I'd be back home. I'm probably walking 3 miles an hour. But the snow out here, I'm making excuses now. It's cold, it's sunny, it's windy. I'm making excuses now, yeah. So yeah, my initial topic of conversation is voting, our voting habits. Let's improve them. You know, let's talk about, and not just the presidency. We got to talk about all elected officials, because they all affect you. Some of us believe that's not so. Some of us believe that's not so. But I'm certain that if we change our mentality about being a little more open to discussion, you don't have to say who you voted for. I mean, if you're having a conversation with somebody, they probably could figure it out from how you talking, but you should be informed of who your loved one is voting for, and vice versa. And I don't mean just husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, or couples. Let me try to, couples. How they gonna vote, they usually share with each other, and then that's it. You don't go beyond that. Because we shouldn't talk about that. That's what somebody taught us. We shouldn't talk about who we voting for. That's crazy. Insane. Because who we vote for determine the policies in our community. So my conversation is supportive of sharing. We should share with one another. We should share with one another who we voting for and why. That's what we should do. We should share with one another who we voting for and why. If you're not comfortable sharing that with somebody, they really shouldn't be that close to you. If you're around somebody, if you're in the presence of somebody for a long period of time and you don't trust them with the information that you provide regarding voting, why are you with them?